Hey folks, Jonathan here. Alright, we're going to start on the teardown on this engine. I had to unload it real quick and in a hurry, and then get back in time before it rained on it from where I went. So it's just the way it goes, I guess. I guess no worse than pressure washing it because we're tearing it apart anyway. But I'm going to get the carb and the intake off, and I'll show you what it looks like under the... Okay folks, so far so bad. As you can see, there's been some water in it. The throttle shaft stuck in the carburetor. It's not stuck hard, but it's stuck. So this thing's been rained in a lot longer than what I thought it had. But like I said, it is what it is. If we can get the heads off of it and come out with them, we'll be all right. Maybe we'll have a good block and maybe we won't. We already assume that the crank is bad if, you know, what they said was true. But I've got to go find an Allen wrench. I put Allen head bolts in the centers here, so you can get an Allen wrench, get them off, and then we'll be able to pull this intake off real quick. All right, we're ready to pull this thing off, see how bad it looks. Ooh, terrible. Head's full of water. See the rust in there where it's been in the block? But of course, that don't mean the heads are hurt. This means they're going to need taken down and cleaned up for sure. So now we're going to pull the heads off. We'll see what it's got for pistons. I'm guessing flat tops. You know, they said, oh, it was built and got dome pistons and all, but 64cc chamber heads, you're not going to put much of a dome in one. You're not going to need it. So, but we're going to see if it has been bored and if it's flat tops or what. They're probably flat tops with the 4 valve reliefs, if I was guessing. And then we'll pull the pan and go ahead and see what the actual problem was with this thing. If it, you know, blew up, what happened. Couple things, you know, of course, engines, if they freeze, they get cracked on the outside. Luckily, where we live, I don't think we've had any issue with this thing, but if a lot of times on a small block, I've seen them crack down the, right above the lifters, down the side of the block when they freeze. So, all right, let's pull this head off and see what we've got. Just what I thought. We got a lot of water and some rust and flat tops with the 4 reliefs. So let me put the camera down. I'll set the head off here and we'll take a look at the valves and see if this thing's been bored at all or what. So, all right. Okay. Valves look rusty. I don't think there's any major issues. They'll probably clean up just fine. Anyway, we got 194s. It looks like I'd have to measure them, but I'm going to say 150s. If this was a 202 valve, which is what a lot of people done, was change these to 202, you wouldn't be able to get your fingernail, or you'd just get your fingernail between the valves. And you know, when we say 194s, it's all it is 1.94 inches. This would be a 150 or 160. It looks like a 150, and which would be 1.5 inches. So that's what we got on that. I don't think, like I said, I don't think the heads are hurt whatsoever. But this block, I'm going to guess, is shot. Now, you know, well, one thing I noticed, okay, I can see the copper seal on. They use steel head gaskets. You do that, they're a lot thinner. You know, you're looking at probably, I'm guessing 20 thousandths compared to a fiber gasket, which would be closer to 60 thousandths, somewhere around there. So you get more compression out of a steel gasket. So that's why a lot of people use them. You know, they work well. 30 thousandths. So this thing has already been punched out and bored to 30 thousandths. So I think it would actually take 60 to bring this out. Now, you run into another issue there is if you go too thin with the cylinder walls. Some engines you can go 60 and not have an issue. Some engines you don't want to go 60. And you know, there's ways of checking it, but it's not, I don't think it's going to be worth the time and trouble. I've actually got another 350 engine and block, and you know, that would be good to, you know, do a little work to them, maybe put these heads on. But I don't think I'm going to worry too much about this block, just because being bored 30 and having the rust in it. And it's not really, I doubt there's much pitting at all. because it's been a while, but it hasn't been that long. I think it wouldn't clean up like it is. I wouldn't want to do that, but I don't think it would take much boring to go over to do it. We want to find out what was the major issue with this anyway. I'm guessing they probably got some sort of a little bit of a performance cam in it. I mean, it was bored, and it don't look like that piston cleaned up. I don't think it's that old. So they built it and run it for however long, and then probably had an oil leak issue or something, and then run it low on oil. But let's see if I can get one of these lifters out. I can't get a hold of it with my fingernail, but if I can get one of these lifters out, I want to look at the bottom side of it and see what it looks like. It'll give us an idea on the wear. Okay, so pulled right out. That's a real quick indicator of how long the engine's been together, as to whether the lifter comes out with no problem or if there's a ledge around it, at the bottom. You can see a little discoloration at the bottom. And what happens is it ends up building up with gunk, and then they don't want to pull out. But this one pulled out with no problem once I got, a little bit of a grip on it. What you want to check would be the back side. Let me wipe it off. Okay, the back side. Now, a lot of people think lifters are flat. They're not flat. They're actually convex. They're high in the center. And they don't machine a lifter, they grind it. And when they grind it, they spin it. And when you spin it, it actually creates a dome in the center. That lifter's got a little wear on it. Well, I mean, it's not terrible, but you can see it does have a little bit of wear. But, if you pull one out and it's concave down in, then it's not convex. But if it's concave, then that you've got some major issues. You got a cam that's wiped out. So, like I said, if they come out really hard, gunked up, they've been in there a long time. But all right, I'm gonna flip this thing over and pull the pan off. We're gonna see what the deal is under there. I've seen it all. That's funny. Somebody torched a hole out to get to a freeze plug. That just don't even make any sense to me. Because if you had the motor mount or the engine in, it would be in the way of getting to it with a torch. If you can get to it with a torch, you should be able to get to it with a ratchet. So I don't know. That's kind of funny there. Definitely a new one on me. All right, let's get the pan off. All right, so she's ready to come off. Let's see what we got in here. A little water and oil. Let's see. No pieces or parts that I heard rattling around. There's always a chance that we could save these pistons too if they're as new as they seem to be. We can get them out without killing them through them cylinders. Alright, I don't feel anything loose. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to pull number one. And the reason we're going to do that is it was lack of oil. It's going to be the farthest one from the fuel or the oil pump. I found that if it's trash in it, if you get sand or dirt or something or anything that is not supposed to be there and it runs through your oil pump, it ends up being number 8. Or it sort of works out that way. And by rule of thumb, anyway. And anybody that wants to know what a 4-bolt main is, here it is. 4 bolts on the main caps. Front and the back don't have them, just the 3 centers on these particular engines anyway. So I'm going to pull number 1 loose. And there's always a chance that it wasn't a spun bearing, that there was something else wrong with this engine. Okay, here's number 1. Not terrible, but not great. There's some lines in it that I don't like, that is like trash. So that tells me we need to go back to number 8 and pull it and check it. And I don't know, let me pop the bearing out and we'll see if this crank's undersized. Yeah, 10 thousandths. So it's been turned, undersized 10 thousandths. All right, let me pull number 8 and we'll see what we got there. Okay, number 8 don't look much different than the others. And I'm going to take a guess and say that we don't have a spun bearing. You know, it may be like, you know, somebody had actually mentioned, it's possible that they had a different issue and thought it was a spun bearing issue, and the issue was back there with the flywheel where something was hitting, because I seen the metal back there. But I really don't like the way this hole is watered out, and you know, I can see the other ones are fine, and it's just something ain't flying, because when you know, 99.9% of the time when you see one that's got a spun bearing, you will have what's called, you know, a dry rod or a hot rod, where the rod has burnt the oil off of it, and it's going to be a, you know, a burnt color because it got so hot inside that it got the oil off of it. So you know, it's, believe it or not, I mean, it may end up being a good crank. But one thing I didn't like, I don't like seeing the pickup tube welded onto the pump. That just always bothers me, something about it. You know, it's not made to be welded on. So anyway, we will, I've got to stop on this thing, but you know, we'll end up getting it torn the rest of the way down, but I don't think we're going to find any issues. And just from the looks of these two bearings and the looks of there's no discoloration or heat. I'll tell you what, before I go, we will do one thing. We'll just pull the center main off real quick and take a look at it, and then we'll call it quits from there. But unfortunately, with the rust in the block, I'm going to say that this is just going to be a parts engine. So, all right. Okay, so the main doesn't look bad either, and let's pop it out and see what that crank's turned to on it. Okay, so that was 10 too, so we're 10 undersize on rods and mains. And I think I'm going to do one more thing before I stop. I think I'm going to pull the flywheel off real quick and see if I can see anything on the backside where a bolt was hitting or anything like that. Okay, cut the flywheel off, and I don't see any place it was hitting at. There was metal in there, and I don't know why, but something was going on with it. But anyway, I don't think there's a spun bearing issue either. I will go ahead and tear it down and pull the other head, and go ahead and take the crank out. The pistons, if you know, I decide I want to keep them. You know, pistons are not expensive, but you know, we'll see what they are. Power steering pump, get the harmonic balancer off, and we'll pull the cam and check it out, check the numbers on it and see what it is. But and this motor mount, because I like that bolt, but the other side, of course, they've cut a hole in. So yeah, and the other thing I missed that somebody brought to my attention, I had forgot all about it, that Chevrolet had changed dipstick sides, and this one's on driver's side. They went to the passenger side, and I think they said it was 79 or something like that. I was thinking it was a little bit earlier than that, but you know, I didn't pay any attention to what year. So it looks like I said, we've got a bunch of decent parts. We've got our heads, and we've got the intake, carburetor. Carburetor's, you know, easily buildable. I'm sort of needing some Elderbrocks anyway for a project later on, and we've got a good HEI distributor, so we're not hurt. It'd be nice, you know, it'd been nice if it would have been something we could have worked with, but you know, that's the way it goes. I'm not really out any money because you know, there's enough money in parts. I'll be fine on it. So anyway, I appreciate everybody watching, and till next time, bye.